Welcome to Bomizo Invest, a consultation firm which deals with the wellness of body, mind, and soul, which makes a person complete physically, mentally, and socially. While we talk to the public, we let them understand that the behavior they portray may not just have come as an accident. There is always a cause, there is always a source of every behavior. So before we are quick to judge for any kind of behavior that a human being portrays, we go back and try to understand why that person behaves the way he does. So I would urge you, anytime you have issues with your friend, with your children, with your partner, don't be very quick to judge this person. It's always important to do some consultation. Share with a few people whom you trust, so that before you utter a word or do something that you end up regretting later on, it's good that at least you try to understand the person. Today, I'll be dwelling on an area that is quite sensitive as far as the human behavior is concerned, and this is where one is looking for a lifetime partner. So when you are looking for a lifetime partner, you want a person whom you can live with, build a family, share with each other, a shoulder to lean on, and a partner to help you make certain critical decisions. So when you start a relationship, it all starts from attraction and then developing some liking towards the person. And as the relationship or the courtship continues, you start liking some traits in that person, and the same happens to him or her. So sometimes we may make hasty decisions that maybe you have met a person for the first time and this person has really impressed you. You have even had lunch together and you held some tete-a-tete, and you really felt emotionally attached to that person. So that from there, something starts building up. You feel you'd like to meet this person more often, and you want to know this person better, which is a good thing. But in the process, you end up confusing between lust and love. When you develop, of course, the first attraction, there is love, and combined with some element of lust. When I talk of lust here, you don't see the other side of this person, the personality, the values, the background, and many other aspects that make that person the way you see him or her today. So lust means you are thinking in terms of intimacy. You are thinking of that person. You start thinking of how you can share intimacy with him or her. That is lust. But love is a bit deeper, because apart from the physical attraction, there are other aspects that you need to consider, and you spend some time with the person to be able to understand him or her. So my subject today is the factors and the determinants of companionship in marriage. When you are looking for a person to marry, it's very good. Marriage is very good because right from the beginning, it is a relationship, is a union that is really encouraged, and getting a partner is a good thing. But the worst thing about it is that if you enter into it blindly because you have loved the person according to your understanding, and later on you realize you made hasty decisions, then you may realize that this relationship may not last. And there is nothing as painful as having entered into a relationship. Each of the parties had set certain goals only to throw them away when this marriage fails to work. So some of the factors that you consider, which sometimes may be very critical, is ethnicity. When we talk of ethnicity, we talk of tribe, we talk of whether this is a foreigner, whether he comes from a certain race, cultural background, and the upbringing. This is very, very crucial because when you meet, you are meeting two mature people who have been brought up in different backgrounds. Maybe at times you may be neighbors at home, meaning that you understand each other's culture very well. But it is not always the case. There are others who meet outside their area of upbringing, maybe in the urban areas or far away in other rural areas, meaning that there is still a lot that you don't know about this person. So there are certain rules, regulations, norms, values which are embedded in certain cultures. And if you happen to get a partner from different cultures, there are chances that either one of the partners will be subdued to join into the culture of the other person, or one culture will dominate the other, and you'll be forced to do as per one's culture. Sometimes it may not be very pleasing because you as a new partner, you may not be really conversant with what the culture of your partner entails. But because you love the person, sometimes you are forced to swallow your pride and join the culture of that person. Again, still within the same culture, there may be rules whereby they feel you should not get a partner from outside that culture, that cultural background. Why do you have to go looking for women or men from other ethnic backgrounds, yet here we have our own? So there are those who still have very, very deep-rooted suspicion of other cultural backgrounds, so that even as you enter into this relationship, you may do so because you love the partner, but the parents, the community from where this other partner comes from, do not support that union. So as a result, you may find this relationship may not last, because what will happen is that the new person or the new partner who have been introduced to the culture will be closely monitored. Is he abiding to the rules of our culture? Do you think you'll be able to fit in our culture? And if you know you do not fit, I'm sorry, we may not be able to accommodate you here. So this may throw and interfere with the relationship. So before you commit yourself into a lifetime relationship, it is very important to understand the cultural background, the ethnic background of your partner, and what is required, so that as you enter into this relationship, you know what you expect. And maybe with the time, you can be able to adjust and be able to fit in the new ethnic setup. That is a crucial factor. Although nowadays we are encouraging people to intermarry from any culture, so long as these people are comfortable with each other, so that we reduce the ethnic tension, we reduce ethnic profiling, and we live as one large family. Outwardly, it looks a good idea, but there are still those deep-rooted suspicions that needs to be ironed out before the relationship is formalized. The other factor which is equally important is the health background. The health background of either of those partners. When I talk of health background, I'm talking of situations where there are communities or families or individuals who suffer from certain diseases, mental disorders. They suffer from certain diseases which can be inherited. They can be passed over from the parents to the offspring. Some of these genetically inherited diseases may be like albinism, sickle cell anemia, rhesus blood factor. There are those with rhesus factor negative and those with rhesus factor positive. You'll find that some of these disorders will live with the person forever. And once this marriage is formalized, it means your union, these genetic traits will be passed over to your offsprings. So there are chances that those traits may be passed over from your partner to your offsprings, and this may be a future problem. So before you reach a point where you are solemnizing your relationship, it is good to be clear about your health status, so that if the other party is aware, they can decide early enough whether to continue with the relationship or to break it. But there are those who feel, of course some are quite selfish, they want to hold on to this partner regardless of their situation. And as a result, these bad elements are brought within the family, and they may end up being problems to the offsprings that these new parents bring forth. So like now in the case of rhesus factor, if the man is rhesus negative and the woman is rhesus positive, that is not a major issue. But if the woman is rhesus negative and the man is rhesus positive, then there are chances that their first child may not survive unless he or she gets full blood transfusion. I don't want to go to the details. I'm only touching on that so as you see the effect it has. There are diseases like hemophilia. It is a genetically inherited disease whereby one is lacking a certain factor in his blood, that is heparin, which plays a great role in the clotting of blood. You may find that a person suffering from this condition, even if he gets a small cut, he or she may lose a lot of blood before a clot is formed to prevent any further loss. So you can see if such a trait is passed over to the offspring, then there are possibilities that that problem will be within the family and it will be inherited from the children to children within that family line. So the health factors is a crucial element to consider. The other one is the financial status. The financial status of both parties. This is a sensitive one in that those parents whose children come from well-up families, they would want their children to also get married to families who are also well-up because of their status. But you may find as a daughter or a son may come from either of those backgrounds, but since now they have fallen in love and they feel they want to live together as a family, the parents of those two partners may be against their union because they feel our status is going to be lowered. How does our daughter who comes from a rich family get married by a man, although they are in love, who comes from a very poor background? It means this man is going to become a parasite. He's going to be getting, actually we are the one who is going to be maintaining this person. So if you really want to get married, our dear daughter, go and look for a man who comes from a similar status like ours, so that we retain that status. So those problems do come, and it is good that some of these are ironed out. On the same, the financial status may mean that maybe one of the party is earning a higher salary than the other. So let's say in this case, a woman is the one who is earning higher salary than the man. So the parents, maybe the parents of the woman, may tell her, it is the man who married you. So your money is your money, but your husband's money is the family's money. So you see, a conflict now starts to develop because you feel it is as if you are maintaining this man. So there is need again to have this understanding long before you settle down. Let each party know each other's financial status and background. If you feel you want to get into a relationship with me in my current status, well and good. But it is good that you know my status early enough so that when we enter into a marriage, problems will not start arising. That is part one of my program. I'll be moving to part two in the next episode.